We all know the push-up is a very effective exercise for building up your upper body. But what if I told you that as a physical therapist, there are variations of the push-up that I know you're not doing right now that could have far-reaching benefits beyond just building up your upper body strength, meaning more flexibility and more mobility. I'm going to show you those variations today. Make sure you do them right and get you started on them so you can start to see the benefits. So the first thing we can do is make sure that you're doing the regular push-up right, because there's bigger benefits if you do one simple change. And that is, instead of just going halfway down or even 3/4 of the way down and guessing how far down you should go all the way down to the ground like this and perform a simple lift of the hands that we call a hand release. And what that will do is take away the momentum that you might be using to your advantage at this point, but more importantly, give you a chance to engage muscles that never get engaged, and that's the rotator cuff along the back of your shoulders. The push-up itself is actually going to internally rotate your shoulders if that's all you ever do. But if you engage those rotator cuff muscles with the simple hand release at the bottom, then you actually can start to balance out the musculature of the shoulder to make sure that you're not developing bad posture in an attempt to actually work on your push-ups. The next one we're doing is actually going to extend beyond just the rotator cuff to work your entire back. And again, most importantly, your low back and that area of your spine that we never work is the thoracic spine. Really important for good mobility and posture. All you have to do is extend the exercise a little bit further. So you get in position once again, you come down to the ground, and here you perform your hand release, but from there, you shoot your hands out in front of you and then lift up. Okay, as high as you can go with your arms and lift your legs and quads off the ground. It's gonna strengthen your low back, your mid back, and your upper back. Come down to the ground, slide your hands back under your shoulders, press up like you normally would on the push-up. So down, lift the hands up, build off of that benefit of the first exercise, out in front of you, come back, down, lower. Again, this hand release version in the Superman position builds off of the first exercise and gives you another option for getting more benefits than just the upper body work. One of the earliest signs of a degenerated hip is a loss of hip flexion, or the ability to get into this sort of deep squat position. We can actually build that right into a push-up with something actually popularized by the boxer Mike Tyson called the Mike Tyson push-up. And all you do here is you get into this position where you're as deep into a squat as you can possibly be, whatever your hip joints will allow you to be. And then what you do is you shoot your body out, straighten your legs out, and come down. Now there's no hand release portion here, but just into this bottom position of the push-up. From here, you're gonna push yourself back into this hip flex position. And what you're getting at the same time, if you focus on the arms, is a flexed shoulder, right, in this position here, with extension through that thoracic spine again, which is that really important area for mobility. So you get shoulder stability, shoulder mobility, and flexibility at the same time that you're working into those deep joints of the hip, get into that flexion of the hip in the bottom position. So down deep into this position here, come in and down. Sit back as far as you can, deep into the hips, and come down. Now you don't want to rock too much. If you rock forward too much, you're gonna start to feel this exercise become a lot more difficult because the front delts will take on a lot more of the work as the arm starts to travel behind your body. Instead, try to keep it about the level of your face as you get down just past your face here. Clear your hands and come down. Not way out here like that, because you'll make the exercise too difficult unnecessarily. Remember, it's the hip flexion portion of this that really should be your focus. Not all push-ups have to be done face down. As a matter of fact, if you're willing to change up the position, you can start to tap into some muscles that are sorely in need of more attention. And how to do that is with an exercise I call the back widow. So for this, we're gonna do our push-up this way, facing up. And all you wanna do is bend your knees and get your elbows just about 45 degrees away from horizontal, right? So tuck it right down to about here. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna push up with your elbows to try to engage all the muscles of your mid and upper back, okay? A little bit into the low back too. And at the top here, you're essentially doing a supported crunch, so you're gonna certainly engage your core too. But with your elbows in this position, I want you to feel as if you're almost gonna rock your hands forward like that to help engage those muscles and lift and squeeze your body off the ground. Now this is one I don't want you to speed through. I don't want you to be doing your reps like this. I want you to purposely, slowly engage the muscles on the backside, right along the spine and into the scapula. And I want you to hold them there for about 3 seconds and then lower slowly. Up, engage, come down, and lower slowly. And again, the longer you're up in this position, the more you have to engage your core to sort of hold you there isometrically. Now, if you want to see what that looks like straight ahead, you'll look at those muscles start to light up. When I get here, press up and squeeze. You can see how much work they're doing. Come down, it's nice and slow, up and squeeze. Again, sometimes what people will do here in error is they'll push too much with their feet, trying to get themselves up, and they turn this into a bridge where you're basically fighting against yourself. You're trying to come up, but you're bridging up at the same time. You're not able to get the range of motion. If you can quiet this down and not really push through the feet, but think about pushing through the elbows, you let your hands rock a little bit, you're gonna drive the movement through the upper back muscles, which is exactly where you wanna feel it. And again, get more of that thoracic extension that we're also sorely lacking. Now, this next one might be a little bit more on the difficult side. However, I will tell you this, the benefits will match that difficulty level. In other words, if you put in the effort to build up to these, you're gonna start to see a lot of benefits in terms of building up your entire upper body because it hits your triceps, your shoulders, and your chest equally well, in addition to actually helping to contribute more to that thoracic extension and shoulder mobility that we're lacking, that we've already been working on. So this is called the dive bomber push-up. What you do is you start in this downward dog position, which is gonna require good hamstring flexibility, calf flexibility, in order to keep your knees straight and get into this initial starting position. And what I want you to do is swoop yourself down to the ground and then pretend that there's a fence right here, okay, just about this high. And your goal is to get your head under the fence, peek at what's going on the other side, and then try to sneak out without touching that fence. Okay, imagine it's a barbed wire fence and get yourself all the way back to the starting position. So if you were to do that, it would look like this. You're gonna slide down really low and get underneath the fence and then lift up and take a look. Now this position here happens to be incredibly good for those who have disc-related low back pain, right? Getting into that low back lumbar extension. Really, really good position. To be able to support yourself with your upper body is a real good benefit here because it really focuses on the triceps being able to do a lot of the work. Now from this position, I'm gonna lower myself back down on that side of the fence and sneak my way back under. And as I press, you can see that the shoulders are really starting to do the work to push me back up to the top. But it's not just now getting into that extension of the thoracic spine and the flexion of the shoulders, but now we're doing it against gravity, really pushing up. So you're strengthening that movement too. So if you can get to the point where you're able to do that exercise, you're really getting not just a more flexible shoulder, but a stronger, more flexible shoulder complex. So that's really, really important. So again, what it looks like in full is you start here, heels down, hamstrings stretch by straightening out your knees, dive down underneath, go nice and slow, peek up on the other side, come up, get your chest spread out, get your low back there extended, come back down, push under the fence and come up. Everything should be done nice and slow and deliberate because I want you to focus on each part of the movement, but you're moving the focus of the exercise right here for chest, triceps, back down again, chest, shoulders, and with all those benefits in the joints surrounding. If that variation is still a little too challenging, that's okay because you can try this instead. And this is a rocking downward dog. So what this will do is it will take away some of the difficulty of the push-up itself, but it'll still give you a lot of the benefits we were just looking at. So you come down to your push-up. As you go up from the push-up, you don't push straight up. On this variation, you're actually gonna push back, okay? Rock all the way down on your toes. Try to get your heels in contact with the ground to get a real good stretch of your calves and your hamstrings. If you're doing this right, you should feel it back through here and through the hamstrings. Okay, from here, you're still getting that same end position, all those benefits we talked about for the shoulder flexibility and mobility, also in that thoracic spine. But I come back down to the ground, come down, press, rock, and push back. Now the nice thing, here's a modified pike push-up. What's nice about this too is for those that actually do the bench press, you know that the natural arc on a bench press is not just straight up and down. It's actually up and back as you press. And when you do this rock, you're actually getting the natural arc to a bench press, or in this case, a push-up, which is bodyweight version of a bench press, to get more of the chest engagement, especially towards the upper chest. So again, looking at that one more time, if I'm down here like this, pushing straight up and down is not mimicking the natural arc of a barbell. What you want to do is go up higher on your chest where your hands will finish up here as opposed to just out in front of your chest here to get more of that carryover. Again, more chest development, but more importantly, all those other benefits that we talked about. One of the most mobile joints in your entire body is your shoulder because it's one of those ball and socket joints that has three-dimensional freedom of movement. That being said, with mobility comes the need for stability, and this exercise will help you to do that. It's a T-stand push-up. It's also going to help you get more rotation through that thoracic spine, not just extension. So what we do is we get in this position like this. We're going to come down and do our regular push-up. Again, the option to do a hand release at the bottom is there. As we come up, we rotate to the top and try to point our fingers up to the sky, okay? Now, we're not letting this sag. First thing you want to do is make sure you keep this lifted, so that will keep the lower side here, we call this pillar strength of your core, through your obliques, right here through your hips, into your glute medius, also into the quadratus lumborum. We have all these muscles that are firing to keep us here, but this is actually building stability through the shoulder, and we're doing it in a loaded way. I've got my body weight that I have to be able to support. And again, we're not allowing this to shrug up. We got to keep this in the same position it was when we rotated. Once we're up in the position at the top here, we reach down and through just to get a little bit more core rotational strength and come back up to the top, hold it for 1 or 2 seconds and come back down to the ground. Come down, same thing. You can see that the foot on the opposite side is going to come over to help support me and catch me in that position. Up here, good, extended shoulder, not collapsing on that side, all the way up to the top over here. Reach down and through as far as I can, lifting up nice and strong through that left side, back to the top, rotate, look at the hand, come back down, uncross the feet. So looking like this, up, down and through, and then back up to the top and down. And again, it's never about the quantity, it's always about the quality. If you're